Now, as the dust settles down following the aftermath of the 2022 general polls held in August, Kenya's capital, Nairobi, once a silent, deserted city, turns to chaotic, busy and buzzing as always, but this time round its residents walking in fear of being mugged. Kenyans took to social media to share their painful experience at the hands of muggers, and quickly the new administration swung into action to restore order, with President William Ruto telling officers not to hesitate to use their firearms if they encounter armed, dangerous gangs that for weeks have been running the city. TV47 Mwige Williams spoke to a number of city residents who ran into muggers, and even though their lives were spared, they got traumatized.
In recent days, crime at the capital has been at an all-time high and is said to be perpetuated by gangs wielding crude weapons such as sharpened knives, forks and spoons, leaving city residents in fear and panic. At the moment, specialized police units, among them General Service Unit and Rapid Deployment Unit, have commenced patrols at the capital to deal with criminals. But even as the uniformed men and women are in a move to restore order, what is the damage already caused? At the heart of Kenyatta Market in Mbagathi, Nairobi, we meet up with Boniface Mutuma, who ekes a living from shaving people. The 43-year-old father of three says he is lucky to be alive following a fatal encounter with cruel muggers on his way home after a busy day at work. He vividly recalls events of a month ago. Mutuma narrates that it was on a Saturday at around 9:30 p.m. and he had closed shop headed back home to Kayole. But unknown to him, he was not to get there in good shape, and with no public vehicles at the usual pickup point, Mutuma opted to make a few strides down the road, but little did he know that he was headed to the danger zone.
Nilikuwa natoka kwenda nyumbani, nilikuwa nimefunga mzuri. Wewe wa stage customer akanipigia simu nikarudi. Ilikuwa kitu saa 2:30 hivi. Sasa kurudi kumalizia ikakuwa kitu kama saa 3 na madakika hapo. Ilikuwa Saturday, nakumbuka ilikuwa Saturday. Sasa mimi kutoka tu mzuri, kwenda pale kwa stage, nikapata kuna magari. Unajua Saturday na hiyo nini huko magari sana, kuna watu wengi. Sasa nikafikia nitatemka ni barabara, na sifike pale mpaka hapo stage ya Ngumo. Sasa niamua tu kuteremka na barabara tu mzuri. Kufika tu hapo stage ya kabla sijafika stage ya Ngumo, hapo juu kidogo kuna mbali unaona matatu hapo zimeharibika, zimewekwa tu hapo kando. Kama nitamuka, nilikuwa tu watu mbele yangu. Vijana kama vijana wa 4 wa 5 hivi. Nikafikia na watu wanapanda. Yeye kufika tu kwa karibia kupita nao, nisikia tu nimekata, nilikuwa tu damu imeruka juu, nikajaribu kuzuia na mkono. Lakini kunini? Hayo endelea, nikamwambia chukueni kitu unachukua msiniue. Ile kitu anachukua nikasema nashika hivi, wakachukua walitoa. Nilikuwa na document hizo za shule na basari nini, nilikuwa nimeweka kwa mfuko. Chukua hizo simu, ile pesa nilikuwa nayo.
Mbagathi Hospital was where he regained conscience, where he was taken by a good Samaritan. His stay there was short as he could not afford the cost of medication at the facility. Mutuma will later be discharged, opting to receive further treatment from a local clinic in Kayole that his finances could manage.
Nilikuwa tisho 8,000 na siko na hiyo pesa. Hapo siko na hiyo pesa, nikafikia nenda pandile pali naishi, because mimi naishi pande za Kayole huko. Huko naishi. Sasa nikaenda kwa hospitali za mtaani hapo. Nikaenda akaniangalia. Nikaniambia atakuwa anaiosha, atafanya dressing, atoe uzi afanye dressing. Waka ipona akiangalia kama kuna shida kwa kichwa nini. Kama naumwa na kichwa nikamwambia hapana. Ananiambia endelee na kuangalia vile itakuwa. Akaendelea na kuangalia. Wao nilikuwa naenda dressing kila siku, natoa 200 kila asubuhi kwa wiki 2. Yeah. Ndio baadaye akanishona, sasa ndio nikarudi kazi. Mimi sikuwa najua kama nitakuwa hai. Nilikuwa najua nimeenda. Yaani vile niligongo na vile sikuwa nasikia ile kubreathe ni sana. Breathe sana kabisa. Wewe unataka kutembea nilikuwa nasikia kisungusungu nini. Hata kuja kufanya kazi hapa, nilikuwa nafanya tu kidogo. Siwezi simama sana, simama kidogo nakaa kwanza kwa kiti. Kudumia customer, dumia kidogo mmoja. Naenda nakaa kwa kiti because naanza kusikia kizunguzungu nini ya. Tu kama hiyo.
After 2 weeks, Mutuma got back to his shop, but this time with a scar, albeit thankful that he lived to see another day, which he says is a miracle.
Ngoja sikuwa na ile pesa, nilikuwa na kitu kama 1,000 na kitu 400 hivi. Na simu ni Rion sema 4,000 hivi. Sasa unaona hata kama liniumiza, hiyo si kitu inawasaidia. Yeah. Ngoja hata ningeaga juu ya kitu, si ya maana sana ile inasaidia hata mwenye kuiba, haiwezi msaidia.
Boniface Mutuma was lucky to return home to his family after an encounter with gangs, but that was not the case for Kigan Kidwa.
I am heartbroken and devastated by this. This is home ground, so why should this happen?
A 24-year-old information technology graduate murdered within his neighborhood of Ridgeways along the busy Kiambu Road. Gidhu was stabbed in the chest to death on Sunday, October 30th, while walking home by robbers who were riding on a motorcycle and made away with his mobile phone.
It's a dream that I don't want to wake up from. I'm like, how? Walking, broad daylight, how can this happen? This is unfair, it is unjust.
Detectives have since arrested 4 suspects linked to the murder. In a statement by Gidhua's family, indicating that Kigan was rushed to AAR Hospital on Kiambu Road by Good Samaritans but succumbed to his injuries.
He was walking on a path that he has walked many times. And somebody from nowhere, the border people, killed him. Killed him. The man who could not hurt a fly. It is so unfair.
In a miscellaneous application made at Makadara Law Courts, investigating officers were granted 2 weeks to detain the 4. The 4 were arrested on the 16th of November, with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations in a statement saying that the series of arrests started early Tuesday, where the first suspect was apprehended at a city toilet along River Road, Nairobi. The suspects had been trailed for about 2 weeks as detectives from Starehe consolidated crucial leads before launching the operation at 4 a.m.
The guns.
Another victim of the notorious gangs terrorizing Nairobians is Joy Naishipai, a student in one of the colleges in Nairobi. Naishipai reveals that she is still traumatized after being robbed of her phone in day broad light at a gunpoint while she was headed for lunch.
So 2 people at first, but I didn't think they were thieves, so I kept on walking. So while I was walking, one of them came just before me and he stood. So I tried to avoid him, but the second person came. And so I decided to stand, but I didn't even realize that that person was on my left side. I didn't know at first what they wanted, and they didn't even talk. So I just felt something on my waist, left and right, and no one talked. So I was holding my phone in my right hand. And then the one who was standing before me, ndiye aliniwekea gun hapa kwa shingo. That's when I realized that I think these ones are also guns. So he told me, nipe your simu. Mind you, I had just withdrawn some money, so it was in my pocket. So I gave him the phone and akanishika mdomo, so I was not able to talk. And then the two of them who were beside me ran, and then he later followed.
The ordeal left the young campus student sleepless for nights.
Really traumatizing at first. I didn't sleep for, I think, a whole week, because I still feel the guns up to now. Sometimes I just feel like there's something here. Then PTSD, obviously. It wasn't also easy for me, because you see, once you don't have a phone, it's so hard for you to communicate.
Time is not a hindrance for these gangs, terrorizing Kenyans any time of the day, just as they did to Charity Imani, also a student who was robbed with a knife stuck to her waist.
I think last week Wednesday, jioni, nilikuwa tu natoka, job around National Museum. So I was just walking, nikaona place naishi na place nimetoka ni karibu, hakuna need ya mi kuboard gari. So I had to walk. So I saw two guys coming towards me, and wakati waliniona, one guy akaenda mbele, then the other one akabaki nyuma, akanishika hapa hivi kwa shingo, then akanieka kwa chest yake. Then I was like, msupa, nitole yote nje. So mi ama nikudunge kisu, so when niliona hivyo akatoa kisu, ilikuwa hapa hivi, ilikuwa ina shine, so mi nikashtuka, and then nikahave kumrushia bag. Then wakaichukua bag, ilikuwa na vitu nyingi ndani, wakasonga mbele, walikuwa tu wanatembea.
Even with the presence of passers-by and vehicles passing by, this does not stop the daring criminals to exercise their inhuman and life-threatening acts on innocent people.
Wamama wakaanza kusema, "Po, wanaibia huyo mtoto, wanaibia huyo msichana." And then wakati waliona hivyo, wakaanza kukimbia mbio wakienda. Actually nilipoteza simu, it was around 15k hapo, and then they took, kulikuwa na pesa kwa handbag, and then wakachukua the whole handbag, kulikuwa na ID, vitu tu hapo ndani, so documents za job kidogo zikaenda.
The situation became worse, such that no one could be assured of his or her safety in any part of Nairobi and its environs.
I was alighting and one foot was already down on the tarmac, another foot was still on the tuk-tuk, and then the hand that nilikuwa nimeshuka nayo, it had my handbag. So when I was just alighting like that, I remember it was a motorbike coming from behind. It's like they saw the tuk-tuk was slowing down, and they knew someone is alighting. So the guy just came. I remember it was he looked like a young man to me. He looked like a young man, just one guy on the motorbike. So he came, and then just where I was alighting, he slowed down a little bit, and then snatched my handbag and sped off, just like that. So that's what happened. My handbag had a lot of things in it, things that I would consider important. It had my work ID, it had my identity card, national ID, it had my two ATM cards, it had my phone, house keys, of course, the personal effects that a lady carries, a water bottle, some makeup inside, a notebook and some pens. Yeah, that's what was in the bag.
The situation bringing out a tough-speaking president, a tough-speaking cabinet secretary of Interior, and the Inspector General of Police. This follows a surge of insecurity cases in East Africa's regional hub, Nairobi City. And after a cabinet meeting Tuesday, the deployment of the General Service Unit and the Rapid Deployment Unit was okayed. President William Ruto issued a warning shot to the criminals, telling police not to hesitate to use their firearms on dangerous criminals.
We deal with criminals firmly, decisively, conclusively, in accordance with the law and the Constitution. If any officer is in danger of criminals, they must use their firearms to deal with the criminals.
The National Police Service had earlier listed the areas where the criminals operate. The areas include drive-in flyover up to KCA along Thika Road, KCA underpass, Total exit along Thika Road, Globe Cinema roundabout, Kipande Road, ABC Place, Kangemi along Wayaki Way, River Road, Archives, Kirinyaga Road in Nairobi's CBD, as well as Fig Tree in Nairobi's Ngara Estate. The Cabinet Secretary for Interior, Kithure Kindiki, issued a 30-days ultimatum to the gangs to surrender illegal guns in their possession.
A small group of criminals armed with knives and other weapons is terrorizing the citizens of this city, as well as a few other urban centers. Those boys who have dared the government and want to tell us that they can take over the city and make it a city of crime, we have also heard you, and therefore we are coming.
Inspector General of Police Japhet Koome and Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, in a meeting over Nairobi's county security situation, agreed to form Nairobi County Policing Authority.
We are going to use all means at our disposal to ensure those out there, young people, because of peer pressure, ujinga peer pressure, anaangalia yule nataka kuendesha gari kama hiyo, nataka kununua suti kama hiyo, na sisi sote ni tofauti, anaenda kufanya ukora. He may not live to see tomorrow. I'm not threatening anybody, but I'm putting things as they are. We are not going to allow anybody to cause trouble in this city. This is a regional hub.
The two people I will never protect is one who is involved in crime and one who is involved in illegal dumping.
Whereas the government has swung into action to restore order in the country's capital, Anthony McLeod has been busy through social media, with his TikTok account having more than 60,000 followers, sensitizing Kenyans on personal security, but most importantly, warning them of the city's most dangerous areas.
Change inaletwa na awareness. Endo swali, nimeleta awareness. How did you know about me? How did anyone, how come I'm on everyone's status? So once you realize this, that actually people have started knowing these regions, if I pass in this area, I need to be this way, I need to be this way, then the impact is there already. But now what we are waiting on is now the authorities to take action on these things that I'm talking about. Because for sure, they are echoing it. The president has talked of it. Hata nimeona Sakaja using my own, slogan words. Pigwa nyongolo, pigwa ngeta. Hizi vitu zote, they were there before, but they were being ignored. As long as ni mraia tu ameibiwa, doesn't matter. But now it's happening to anyone, everyone. Patoka gari unashutiwa. Ati unashutiwa kwa nini? Simu. Unanishuti juu ya simu.
Also known as the Truth Watchdog, for McLeod, it all began at Nairobi Central Business District Archives, where he witnessed an aged woman being robbed in the glare of people who were watching from a distance, with the woman crying out for help, but none forthcoming.
Watchdog ilianzia Archives. Na nilikuwa naenda kupanguziwa viatu. Hapa hivyo niko na mabeshte zangu wa Kisii. Nilikuwa naenda kupanguziwa tu viatu, alafu over sudden niko na madhe ameanguka chini. Anapiga manduru. So I was like, hey bro, ngoja kiasi, wacha nikasaidia yule madhe. Manzi ameanguka vibaya. Kumbe si kuanguka, ni kupigwa ngumi ya figo hapa hivi, akaanguka chini. So ile mimi naenda kumuokolea, tu kumuinua, nimwambie mam pole. Nilikuwa nafikiria ameanguka for real. So kwenda hiyo kushika hivi ndio nikapata mabouncer wawili wazito. Niambia toka hapa bana. Huyu mama anatuharibia kazi, wewe unamshikashika nini hapa? Utakuingiza kwa mix. Nikashinda utaniingiza kwa mix aje. Madhi amedunda bro, namsaidia. Acha ujinga nini? Mimi nikaona mimi simwachi akitaka nigote. Kachukua madhi nikamfuta kando, nikamwambia ni nini mbaya? Pesa yangu. Kusikia pesa yangu, nashinda pesa yako imeenda wapi? Kumbe hapo hivyo wamemchocha kwa M-Pesa, ametuma 3,200. Na hiyo pesa yake yote, hiyo ndio alikuwa nao mbele nyuma. So mimi nilikuwa na donga, mimi nilikuwa na punch on me. Already nimeshapanguziwa kiatu moja na faa nyingine imaliziwe. Mimi nikamwambia ndakupatia 200 ufike home. Juu hawa sasa kama ukingangana nao hapa hivi watakupiga na watakuumiza, na unaona watu wanatembea tu akujali. Madhe akapiga hapo nduru. Then something just came. Kanaambia ni aje, because another old woman will pass here. And another. And the same will be repeated. Si uchukue tu ka video and then you say on media, see fiti. That's how Truth Watchdog was born.
His calling out crime for months now is an issue that has landed him in trouble not once. But he vows to keep going to the full length just to keep the streets safe for everyone.
Nimepata threats for sure. Lots of them. But threats do not scare me. Let me tell you. We feed on threats on a daily basis. And if you do not know that you're feeding on threats every day, why do you wake up to go to work? It's a threat. It's a threat, bro. Hey, nisipoamka hapa nirauke job, kesho niko na kale kariziti ka go home. You see? So everything is a threat. Mbona unadish? Si useme tu ndaka hivyo.
But for the victims who have survived an encounter with the muggers, we live to tell their chilling experiences.
I feel like the thieves are exaggerating. You don't approach someone with 3 guns just for fun. Yeah.
I never really thought it would really happen to me at that point where it happened, because I've been walking around town scared that maybe watanibia nikiwa town, or maybe watanibia nikiwa place fulani. But wherever I was at that time, I really didn't expect that it would happen at that specific spot.
The experience, Jota saizi, imenifanya nikakuwa traumatized. You see, when I walk nione 2 people coming towards me, I'll have to run back. Nirudi tu penye nimetoka, because hiyo kitu naogopa anyone saizi. I fear anyone. Ilioneshwa kisu we. Yeah.
Asa Nairobi ndaishi nayo ile because hizi kuanga hivyo. Nilikuwa kijana smart sana. Sikuwa na hiyo. Sasa hiyo liniweka hiyo ni kitu kwa maisha yangu nitakuwa nakumbuka bro. Taniweka ni kitu maisha yangu yote nitakuwa nakumbuka. Sitaisahau.
Because at the end of the day, our children are not safe. We have lived in this area for a long time. This is home. Where do we go? So I am very upset. I appeal to all the authorities that are concerned. You need to do something. My children did not go down for nothing.
So we need to speak about these rogue police officers to a clean up, watoke, tuachane wasi wanachapa job. Then we come back to now hawa raia, pia to a clean up. Because when you say nanika wase, bro, ukitoka morning, alafu every day unatoka kwa keja yako, either your child, your wife or your mother is worried you might not come back. What kind of a society are we living in?
So how long will it take to restore the sense of security to Nairobi residents? Mwige William, TV 47, Nairobi.